Every NBA season, some of the most fun storylines to follow involve the NBA awards. So in this video, I want to look at some of the biggest changes in the odds and frontrunners for each of the awards so far this season. So if you guys like my content, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's try to get 47 likes on today's video, and let's hop into it. Just so everyone knows, before going into the video, all the odds are going to be based on a unit of 100. So if you hear plus 500, that's going to be the same thing as 5-to-1 odds. Now, the MVP award is very interesting because as of right now, there doesn't appear to be an obvious leader. I think most people, including Vegas, looked at Luka Doncic as the heavy favorite going into this season, given the stats he was projected to put up, the narrative with it being just his third season, voter fatigue for Giannis, and other top contenders playing with another star, such as LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Kevin Durant. Due to this, most of the money was on Luka Doncic going into the year, but 8 games into the season, Luka Doncic has lost that big lead. So far, his stats are slightly down, going from 29 points a game to 27, a huge part of this being his struggles from the three-point line. Due to this, and the Mavericks being just one game over 500, his odds are currently at plus 440. Now, he's still the leader, but Giannis has really tightened the gap. He currently sits at plus 500. Now, on paper, it makes sense why he's going to have top odds. He's averaging 27 points a game, shooting over 52% from the field, while being a contender for back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards, which we'll get to in a minute. While the Bucks are currently 6-4 in the Eastern Conference, they project to end the year with a top 3 seed in the East, obviously helping his case. But as we mentioned, it's really hard to imagine Giannis winning back-to-back MVP awards. So I actually think this creates a great opportunity for players that I think have better odds than Vegas is giving them. Obviously, this is an opinion, but if you have a guy with the second best odds that I don't think will win, you're basically getting boosted odds for whoever you feel actually has the best shot. Coming in third right now is going to be Kevin Durant at plus 700. Now, this one's interesting. If you guys have been watching my content, you will know I wasn't the strongest believer in Kevin Durant going into this season, but don't get it twisted. I'm ecstatic to see him playing this well. Kevin Durant has not lost a step. He's averaging 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists, shooting 52% from the field and 43% from 3. Now, I'm actually really starting to like Kevin Durant's odds. If he can manage to average 29 points a game on practically 50-40-90, something that he's done in the past, and the Nets are a decent seed in the East, it's going to be hard not to give it to him. But that's a big question there. The Nets are currently 5-6, but I have a pretty strong feeling when it's all said and done, they will be a top 4 seed in the East. So right now, those are the clear top 3, but I think there's some very interesting and quite honestly surprising odds after them. Curry is at plus 1,000, which I think is pretty generous given how the Warriors team has looked so far, but if they can surprise as a team and Curry can put up some crazy stats, which is definitely possible, I think he's got a shot, but I just don't see him as a top 4 candidate. I think the most interesting odds so far is going to be Joel Embiid at plus 1,200. Right now, Joel Embiid is averaging 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 blocks a game, shooting 53% from the field and 46% from 3. The big thing with Embiid, similarly to Giannis, is what he can do on both ends, and he's the best player on a team projected to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, a team that very well might finish as the top seed. The 76ers are currently 7-3, tied for the best record in the league, and one of those losses came when practically their whole team was out. Man, I actually really like these odds. Just think about this. If Embiid continues to play this well, and the 76ers are that number 1 seed in the East, you can't give it to Giannis over him, and it would honestly be hard to give it to anyone else. After this, the only players that are remotely close in odds are going to be Anthony Davis and Jokic at plus 1,300, and LeBron James at plus 1,400. As we talked about before, it's just so hard to imagine giving the MVP to one of LeBron and AD over the other. Jokic is another interesting one, as he's averaging a 24-point triple-double on crazy efficiency so far. I really think his odds are great. The only thing with him is I just can't see the Nuggets getting a better seed than the 76ers in their respective conference, making it hard to give it to him over a guy like Embiid. I think my biggest takeaway so far of looking at the MVP odds is that there's definitely some exploitable opportunities. Then we've got the Rookie of the Year award, one of the funnest races to follow every single season, and this year is no different. Currently, there's a clear top frontrunner, and that's going to be fan favorite and third overall pick in the draft, Lamelo Ball. Now this is so exciting as this wasn't the case going into the season. To start the year, Lamelo Ball was sitting at plus 400, still the favorite, but guys like Obi Toppin and Anthony Edwards were very close in odds. But with what Lamelo has done so far, he's currently sitting at minus 210, making him the clearest frontrunner out of any of the awards so far. But this is fair and honestly pretty enticing. Lamelo Ball was a polar player coming into this draft and going into this season, but almost every doubter is starting to switch sides. He truly looks like the real deal. He's coming off the bench to start the year and averaging 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, shooting 44% from the field and 36% from 3. He's also become the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double. While I think it's possible and very likely his efficiency could slip as the season goes on, I think his role in this offense is only going to expand, obviously helping his box score numbers. To get an idea of how big of a favorite Lamelo is, right now second place is sitting at plus 600. That being Tyrese Halliburton, the 11th overall pick to the Sacramento Kings. I really love what Tyrese Halliburton brings to the court. So far this season, he's averaged 12 points and 6 assists, shooting 52% from the field and 50% from 3. With his efficiency to this point and what he has brought both as a defender and playmaker, it should be no surprise that he has some of the best odds at this award. But with that being said, it's just really hard to imagine him taking it home over LaMelo at this point. After this, you've got to go to the number 1 pick in the draft, Anthony Edwards, sitting at plus 800. So far, it really hasn't been great. He's showing potential, but as far as production goes, he's put up 14 points a game, shooting 39% from the field and 28% from 3. I think the only opportunity he really has to take down LaMelo for this award would be an injury, or he just goes on an absolute tear and can approach 20 points a game on much better efficiency. Tied with Edwards at plus 800 is going to be the 2nd overall pick, James Wiseman of the Golden State Warriors. Now, Wiseman looked like the early favorite, but as the season has gone on, it's been clear that there just isn't much volume available to him. So far, he's averaged 11 points and 6 rebounds on solid efficiency, so while he looks like he's going to have a solid season, it's just not going to compete for this award in my opinion. After this, the odds just absolutely shoot up. The next closest is Cole Anthony at plus 1800. Anthony so far has really struggled, averaging 9 points and 3 assists, shooting an absolutely terrible 32% from the field and 17% from 3. The only interesting thing about him is the possible opportunity available after the unfortunate injury of Markelle Fultz. And next up is the Defensive Player of the Year award, an award that isn't talked about too much and something that's hard to judge this early into this season. Now, the top frontrunners right now are going to be Anthony Davis at plus 240, Rudy Gobert at plus 350, Giannis at plus 500, Bam Adebayo at plus 1,000, Embiid at plus 1,000, and Ben Simmons at plus 1,000. Now, this one is interesting, and I can really see any of these guys taking it home at this point. It's hard to see voter fatigue affecting this award like it does with the MVP, so I think it's completely reasonable to have Giannis and Gobert, the 2 most recent winners, with top 3 odds. Now, I do think Davis being the leader is the right decision. If the Lakers, again, finish with a top record in the league while being one, if not the best defensive team in the league, it's hard not to give him his first defensive title. But I also really like the possibilities of some of these other guys, such as Bam Adebayo, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid. Now, it will be interesting to see if this Philly duo's chances are hurt by playing together, similarly to the MVP situation with that Lakers star duo. Then we've got the 6th Man of the Year award, an award that's pretty weird as it really doesn't mean much. A lot of times the winner goes to a guy that, yes, came off the bench, but still got 30 plus minutes a game, a lot of times stacked with most of the starters. But nonetheless, it's an award, and there's been some clear frontrunners to this point. Right now, the top 3 is going to be Jordan Clarkson at plus 500. He's been amazing to this point, averaging 17 points, shooting 49% from the field and 42% from 3. You've got Karis LeVert, who I actually think might be the safest bet considering he's got a locked-in role on this team. So far, he's averaged 18 points and 6 assists on decent efficiency. Now, he has played some games in the starting lineup with guys like Kevin Durant missing time, so it's going to be interesting to see how many games he has off the bench on the entire season, which I think is going to be priced into his odds. Then you've got Terrence Ross at plus 700. He's averaging 17 points, shooting 40% from 3. He seems to be in the running every single year, but never wins. Maybe this will be his season. So as you can see, with the top spot being Clarkson at plus 500, this award is very up in the air. So I actually really like some of the dark horses. And I think the most interesting one is going to be the front runner for Rookie of the Year, Lamelo Ball, who sits at plus 2,400. I wonder what his odds would be if we knew 100% that he was going to spend the whole season off the bench. But even with that risk, I actually like his chances. Lastly, we've got the NBA Most Improved Award, an award that's consistently been given to future stars of the league, such as Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jimmy Butler, and Paul George. Like the Rookie of the Year award, a clear frontrunner has risen, and that's Christian Wood of the Houston Rockets, sitting at plus 160, and I'm just saying, I called it. Last season, he averaged 13 points and 6 rebounds, and this year, that's jumped to 23 points and 10 rebounds. Now, while he's a clear favorite so far, the runner-up has also been very clear, and that's Jeremy Grant of the Pistons. A lot of people questioned whether Grant would have success in this new role after his big contract, but he's more than proved himself so far, averaging 25 points and 6 rebounds, shooting 47% from the field and 38% from 3. After them, the next closest is going to be one of the most talked about players so far this season, Julius Randle, sitting at plus 1,200. This season, he's jumped to 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists on 49-35 splits. Impressive, but in terms of this award, I just don't think he has a shot when you compare his numbers to some of these crazy statistical jumps we're seeing from the guys already mentioned. After this, the odds skyrocket. Everyone, including some guys that have looked really impressive, like Domantas Sabonis and Jaylen Brown, are at least plus 2,100. But that's the video, guys. You guys give me your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And the shoutouts are gonna be Henry, Twin, Chase, Cole, and Matthew. If you guys want to shout out in the next video, all you gotta do is like the video, comment liked, or rep notification squad, and I'll shout 5 of you guys out. With all that being said, hope you guys have a great day, and peace.